Center for Interfaith Cooperation started in about 2010. A lot of the leaders from the different organizations came together. Initially, we had 40 board members, so we started with a really broad reach of the different interfaith groups and all the religious groups that reside here in Central Indiana.
Charlie Wiles reached out to me and said he had an idea for an organization that he wanted to call the Center for Interfaith Cooperation. And I'd been involved in a number of community organizations, and so he asked me if I would help him give birth to this new organization.
The Jewish community, not just through JCRC, but through synagogues and the engagement of lay leaders and clergy in the Jewish community, were integral in the launching of the Center for Interfaith Cooperation.
I think there's several people were called in terms of who were already active in the faith and interfaith community here.
Don Knievel, a friend of mine, placed a call to me in the spring of 2012, and he said, "Ruth Ellen, I'm working with Charlie Wiles to start a new interfaith group. We're going to call it the Center for Interfaith Cooperation. You're the only Latter-day Saint I know, so will you do it?" And I said, "Anything for a friend, Don, I'd love to."
We've had over 100 faith, academic, and community business leaders serve on our board of directors since our founding in 2011. These are folks that made a 3-year commitment to serve on the board, to represent their community, to help advance, again, building the interfaith relations. The primary goal is to increase religious literacy. So often we hear people just have never had an opportunity to meet someone from a different faith background.
So CIC has opened my world so wide in so many directions, with people from backgrounds, perspectives, religious beliefs and practices that I would have never encountered. And I now see the world through a much, much bigger lens than I ever saw before.
There's so many things I've learned from other members of faith traditions, different than my own. And one of the main things I've learned is that human beings have a tremendous capacity to be compassionate, generous, and understanding.
Learning something about each other is not necessarily an intrusion upon our own faith or belief.
In fact, when you look deeply at each other's faith, there are a lot more things common that unites us than there are things that divides us.
My greatest aspiration for the Center for Interfaith Cooperation is it will continue to be that vehicle or that mechanism that can bring people together.
So I think being involved and being part of CIC has made me aware that there are certain events that happened around us, like anti-Semitic things. We used to read it in papers and we would think that, okay, it's happening somewhere. Being in CIC, I know the people that it happens to. It has brought me closer to them, and I have participated in their support.
When something negative happened to one of the faith communities, people came together and rallied quite quickly. For instance, there was a synagogue that was vandalized. And within 36 hours, I think we rallied over a dozen people that came and spoke out against that. And if any one community is attacked, we all stand together and say this is antithetical to all of our faith traditions. One of the signature programs of Center for Interfaith Cooperation is our Interfaith Youth Ambassador Program.
Youth from local high schools and universities can apply through their school, congregation, or community center to learn about other faith communities and to converse with the diverse group of young people about current social, cultural, and religious issues. Another of our initiatives is our AmeriCorps Program. The AmeriCorps members serve with a variety of religious and community-based institutions to build supportive relationships with their neighbors.
One of our more promising programs is the Interfaith Coalition for Mental Health. And essentially what we do is bring people together from clergy and mental health professionals on a monthly basis. Our goal is to build a continuum of care that addresses both the spiritual needs and the biological needs of someone who's suffering from some type of a mental challenge. Our largest program is the Indy Festival of Faiths.
I got an invitation from a friend to attend the Festival of Faiths. The energy at the Festival of Faith was just amazing.
I can't tell you how many people have come and told me after they visited the Indy Festival of Faith for the first time how surprised they were to see the vast diversity of religious and international communities that are represented here in central Indiana.
Particularly the Festival of Faith is a very significant signature event of the CIC that has the greatest potential to bring people of different organizations and denominations together into one place to relate to one another, to learn from one another, to share with one another their ideas and thoughts.
So I think the CIC serves a great purpose in that it is very devoted to the idea of bringing faith communities together. And in fact, I have created fabulous friendships throughout my experience with CIC.
I think it's the most important organization in the city that's trying to bring people of faith together. People often see each other with different faith traditions as alien or fearful. That interfaith conflicts are among the most important problems in the world today. That's the source of an awful lot of violence and hatred. It continues in the United States, and so the more you can be involved in trying to eliminate that fear, I think the better off the whole world will be.
Bringing people together, learning about differences. How do you actually do it? How do you actually do that? You support an organization like the Center for Interfaith Cooperation.
For any idea to really survive, you need support. You need friends, you need philanthropists, you need patrons who come and assist in some way as volunteers or financially or otherwise.
When you do something financially to help CIC pay its bills and remain a vibrant and contributing and growing part of the Central Indiana community, you are serving all of your brothers and sisters of every religion in every part of our community.
I think financially supporting the CIC is a great way to do a couple of things. It's a way to invest in a community that is much more diverse than a lot of people realize, a way to kind of make a statement about the rhetoric and the hate and the fear that are being generated now completely unnecessarily. A financial commitment is a way of saying, I believe in something bigger, I believe in a future that looks brighter, and in a hope that I'm not going to let go of just yet.
Getting involved with anything at CIC will only enrich your world because you'll just be that much bigger a person because you will have learned so much more about another tradition.
So I thank God for the Center for Interfaith Cooperation because it has made a huge impact in this community in bringing people together. And in our time, bringing people together is number one in the agenda because there's so much in our world, in our society that divides us.